Welcome to Vanderpump Rules Party Podcast, the longest running podcast about Vanderpump Rules out there. Please join your hosts, Holly and Sarah, as they deep dive everything Vanderpump Rules.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Vanderpump Rules Party. I'm Holly Borquez.
I'm Sarah C. And we're back.
We're back in studio.
On video.
Thanks for tuning in, you guys.
We've got some behind the scenes of the last time we were here. What happened, how it went down, how did we get here, right? And we're just going to tell you the story. We've got questions that we posted. Thank you to our patrons in Patreon for asking the questions, and some folks in our Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group, it's a private closed Facebook group, so go join. It's fun, extra tea, inside sources, lots of fun stuff happens in there, as it does on our Patreon.
Yes.
And don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.
Yes, the YouTube thing is like very exciting for us. We're going to start dropping more shorts. We have so many short videos that we have saved up to show you guys, old footage that we have.
Years worth.
And I think it's good. So keep an eye on our YouTube for sure.
I was just answering someone today. It was about an ad. And they're like, have you worked with this company before? And I'm like, yes. And I was going to say a few years ago. And then I thought, no, many years ago. And then when I was driving, I was like, many, many years ago. Because I'm like, it's 4 years in San Diego already. That's crazy. And it was before COVID. So we've been here for many, many, many years.
Many moons, yes.
So.
I know. It's like it pretty much as old as my children are is when we start. So 10 years, basically.
So you'll get old school 10-year footage. So
yes.
Thank you for joining.
Yes.
We'll deliver. All right. So the behind the scenes with Laura-Leigh. First of all, thank you everyone that downloaded, subscribed, watched, viewed, commented. Not everybody that commented, but we'll get there. We're just going to talk about how it happened, what happened when we were here, what happened afterwards, and go from there.
Yeah.
So let me read the first question.
Yay.
Michelle Bouchard asked, how did you get in contact with Laura-Leigh and get her to agree to this interview? What was the process of setting up this set in the studio? How does it feel to be famous and being mentioned on all these sites and publications? You guys are amazing. Love the interview. Well, it was not just, we're going to talk about cast reactions on a different podcast, but we did hear some people like, oh, people have been asking about Laura-Leigh lately, right? They're getting nostalgic for season 1. It was not just some haphazard like, has anyone called Laura-Leigh? We did, but we've been calling Laura-Leigh for 8 years, so it's nothing new.
And we have all the receipts to prove it. But we were giant Laura-Leigh fans. We were fans of season 1. So we were hitting those DMs the second that we thought of the idea years ago of just wanting to connect with her too. And the great thing about her is she was receptive from day one and agreed to an interview many years ago. And it's just taken this long to really make it happen. And she was ready to come out and talk it to you guys too. So it just perfect timing.
Yeah, there was logistics in the past. She's on the East Coast, we're on the West Coast. She's busy with her projects and jobs and bookings and things like that. So now she's got a project she'd like to get out there that, has already created a lot of buzz before our interview, but more so now. So we were happy to help and happy to be finally make this happen. I know other people have reached out to her, including, people trying to get her back on the show from a production and Bravo standpoint. So and offers to be, on other types of shows like that. So the compliment is real. Like, this didn't go unnoticed. Like, we've been working hard for it for many years, but we still appreciate, her choosing us. She does want to support women. She noticed our persistence and our consistency. So that's kind of how we did it. It's just keep showing up and just keep being you. She did listen to our podcasts on, several different types of topics, and to make sure we aligned with, her goals and personality. So she did, she knew what she was getting into, and I think we're all happy with the result. And yeah.
Yeah, I think that was like really special, or it meant a lot to me that she wanted to support women. She really liked our podcast for that, to women trying to make it in this podcasting world. So I really, really appreciated that, because I felt like she was really intentional with that. And it was great. And especially, like, I love our history of going back and forth, because we were going to Skype from New York. And then when she, when we were like, we can link up in person, it just all worked out. And shout out to the studio that we're in right now, Third Wheel Podcasting. It's the bomb. It's the best. It's in Hollywood, and they are awesome. We got so many DMs from you guys saying, like, you guys got a studio and everything. And we didn't. We're using one, but it's awesome. So check them out, too.
Yeah, Holly did her research, and
Yes.
shout out to Kaden, who did our editing and reels with the Laura-Leigh stuff, and we'll be doing it again today. But yeah, it's very flexible and worked out great, and we're going to try out different formats today. We're trying this out, let us know what you like. Yeah. And we'll
yeah, we're learning along the way too with you guys. So, but yeah, just a dream come true to get Laura-Leigh. And it was not just, we didn't just throw seeds into the wind. We've been working on this for a super long time. We've wanted her for a very long time, and
she kept her word.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Cool.
What's next?
Okay, so these are just they're random order. So Betty has asked, was Laura-Leigh surprised that she was so beloved by this community? Also, what did she and you think of people saying some of the comments they said? I think surprised by that outpouring. I mean, people have been talking about her for years, and she's been very elusive, which makes her even more in demand, right? I do think there was so much support, and like, wow, people are still talking about, I just did 4 episodes on season 1, and she's still one of the most iconic historical figures on Vanderpump Rules. So yes, I think she was very appreciative of those people that were so happy to hear and see and hear from her, and appreciated the support.
Yeah, I too. I personally, I still don't think she knows what she means to our whole Vanderpump community. And she's still like even after meeting her, like I was like, oh, is this good? It's like meeting your favorite actor, you're like, oh no, it ruined it. It did not ruin it for me, because she's exactly how I thought she would be. So it's even that much more magical. But I don't think she knew the impact that it was. She knew this was going to be her first interview and that people were going to freak out, but I've spoken to her on the phone since, and people have recognized her from the interview. She was carrying around one of our tote bags, and they recognized our logo. They want to buy the tote bag. Sarah, we got to work on that. And yeah, so I think it's great, and I'm excited for her. I'm excited for us. Awesome.
So as far as the comments, obviously she and us always appreciates, supportive comments, even comments that were questioning. It was like, okay, that's okay to ask questions, but then there's unnecessary comments. And that's with any interview, any podcast, any person. You watch Vanderpump Rules and they're like, Sheena lives in the comments. Lala doesn't look at the comments. So it's like, it is important. Like the Kardashians say, they don't read the comments. Everybody is fallible. They fall, then they avoid that. We all try our best. I guess I would remind people, if you are leaving a negative comment, like, what's the intent? What's your goal? Is it to be helpful? Is it to just, shame somebody and make them feel bad? If you're questioning something for someone's health, I think that's fine. If you're worried about them or people around them or yourself, is this person a threat to you and your safety? Are they a threat to themselves or their safety or their dog? From my perspective, Laura-Leigh was nothing but a delight. She was very coherent. She was very in control of her words and herself and her dog, a great caretaker of her dog.
She was on time. I mean, just like little things where
Yes.
like maybe you could comment and be like, well, she was 3 hours late. You know, like, no, she was prompt. She was professional. She came ready. So I feel like that's to be noted. But I do have to say that when the interview dropped, I'm the known spiraler over here in the comments. And I did get super overwhelmed for her with some of the comments that I saw. And I spoke to her on the phone and she was so great about it. And she's like, you just, like, you can't do, like, don't read it. Like, so I think she stays out of the comments. She helped walk me through that. And you just don't read it. So Sarah did a great job of helping with the comments and stuff because I couldn't do it.
I mean, every now and then I slipped and I just can't help but respond. I'm like, what's your goal here? I'm like, I sure hope this doesn't happen to your, children if they ever struggle and you have someone like yourself attacking them. Like sometimes there's a couple times I'm like, okay, stop, back it up, doesn't matter.
I also put myself like in the shoes of people who were so excited to see her and hadn't seen her since season 1. And you can't like, when you're not, if she was sitting right here, you wouldn't say that to her. But maybe on the keyboard you accidentally say, oh, she looks different or she sounds like, So I was trying to give people a pass with that because maybe I would have made a comment like that. But
so the people asking, I mean, there's so many comments like, is she high? Is she doing drugs? Okay, you're asking a question. Do you really need to ask it? All right, fine. You know what? You can also DM us. People have DM'd us that. That's a little kinder. I've already answered my feelings on that. I actually have a very good friend that watched it, whose daughter has struggled her whole life, still struggles. She's my goddaughter, so I see it all the time. From my experience with that, I'm not someone to diagnose. It was very different. And this is also a functioning, productive person. Very different. Laura-Leigh is doing projects. She created the sizzle reel for Jurassic. Everything I saw is not in line with my experience with some of the accusations here. Again, I'm not someone qualified to diagnose. It's just my experience. It's my friend's experience who has many years of hands-on being a mother, struggling with that. And they didn't believe so. I have a sister that went to a dramatic acting school in New York, so knows the community of craft actresses like Laura-Leigh is a seriously Juilliard-trained actress where, she immerses herself in the character and the craft. And oftentimes with that, there's certain characters that do that, like Joaquin Phoenix. People will make comments, oh, he's acting weird. Oh, he's acting high. He immerses himself into a character or a situation, or they're just, they're talented, creative people. So sometimes they're quirky.
And I felt like on season 1, they actually they lightly did that with her even on that show, where they were like, they showed her journey, but Jax the whole time was like, I don't know, so it's hard to.
So we can't diagnose, but what I can say is what is your goal in needing to know? I would equate it, if we say addiction is a disease, what if someone you cared about had cancer and then they beat the cancer? But then they posted something on social media. Are you going to say, oh, wow, she looks terrible. Does she have cancer again? Wow, that's bad. She has cancer. She must. She looks terrible. You wouldn't do that. So why someone with a previous addiction that they openly talk about and their sobriety and how successful they are, but still occasionally can fall off, and then they take the time and the wherewithal to analyze what happened so that they can find a better coping mechanism to avoid it. But you wouldn't say this to someone with a different type of disease. Instead, with addiction, people feel like they need to shame people and shun them and insult them. And how is that going to help that person? Wouldn't that person just say, well, damn, if they think I'm high, I might as well just be high. Instead, how about, hey, everything okay? If you need help, just know people love and support you, and we can be there to help you if you need it. Maybe that's a little kinder and a little more helpful than some of the things that some people felt compelled they needed to say.
Yeah, and I think, again, for the behind the scenes on this, we've had many interviews on this podcast, and it was one of the most professional ones that we've done, where she stayed on topic, she was on time, she left on time, everything. Like I can't make a comment about that. And with many others, there are comments I could make.
So many times she would bring us back to the trunk of the story or the point, right? Both in our conversations and on the podcast we did here, which.
Or I'm thinking of some episodes that we did where we would, be cleaning up after and be like, oh my gosh, like this person drank like all of this, or oh wow, like look at like there was other things that were happening, and I didn't see nothing was happening,
Or they branch off into, I'm not even talking about recent, some more older interviews where they said things, we're like, no, you don't want to say that, because it was bad.
Right.
And you're like, I know you think you're telling your story, but you might want to rethink this.
Mm-hmm.
And people, and we didn't have that experience at all with Laura-Leigh.
No.
So that's that.
Yes.
Okay. I'm also curious what happened. This is Mary McCarthy. What happened after
Mary?
What happened after the podcast came out? I'm not on Reddit, so what was posted there? How have things been for you two since it was released?
I have not gone onto Reddit, and Reddit is my favorite, so I stayed away, so I haven't checked.
It's your favorite?
Yes, I freaking love it. I love it.
How do you not spiral there?
I don't ever read stuff about us.
Oh, okay.
Like I love it for the gossip on other people, and I love gossip. So I guess that's like very hypocritical of me to not like it.
You're gonna benefit from other people's. Well, I mean, you probably don't read like
the drama. Like I don't like. Yeah, someone bashing someone's looks or something like that. But I like to hear the behind the scenes on an argument or whatever. Just any detail that people have. Yes. But it is my favorite form because I feel like usually someone has some sort of like behind the scenes info or something, and it feels a little more secret. So that's why I like it. But yes, after we released it, there was like a relief because I feel like Sarah and I were holding this secret for so long that when we got it, we were like, here we go. And it was just like, it was like we just released it to the universe.
It was stressful.
It felt good, but then like we'd never done the video before. We'd never posted the clips like that. So it was like boom, boom. It was a lot of work, actually. It was like it felt very similar to Scandival for us, where it was just like I was watching the timer of things loading and making sure that everything was going properly. So it was a lot.
Oh yeah, here. But even behind the scenes, it was a process once we all agreed, and we agreed to do in person. There was like legal things we had to do. So there was that, making sure we were quiet, also not just from a legal standpoint, but to not jinx anything, right? Or to not, if word got out, what if some of these comments happened before the interview? Like, who wants to hear from, like, maybe it wouldn't have happened. So yeah, a lot of anxiety. And then when it was done, it was like, oh, it's done. But then, then it was a holiday. I think it worked out for the best. I think it was great to drop it after the new year.
Yeah, I could not be more happy with it. So we haven't even really talked about this, but like I think it's exactly what I wanted. It's exactly like she said everything that I wanted to hear. I still have a list of questions of things that I didn't get to ask, but I'm proud of it. I think
there wasn't like really anything I could think that we missed or needed to ask. Like, shoot, why didn't we?
I really wanted to know about her dad. Like, I wanted to know about her dad, and there was like a couple more like I wanted to know more about the producers or like how that like I would have liked to hear more stuff like that or ask more Jack's questions, about what he was like or things like that.
Well, she has more. She has more to tell. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
Because yes, I would like that as well, like the follow-up, like, of season 2, season 3, when, she did hear back. And then, there's more Jack stuff. There's a lot of stuff. So,
yes, stay tuned.
It was the right amount of time and the questions everybody wants out of the gate, but there's more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, thank you, Tia. I'm so glad you both for you both, and the podcast finally received the recognition for your talents. You have the best VPR and adjacent scoop and have had for years. We appreciate your hard work. So not so much a question, but a big compliment.
Yeah, and like with every bad comment I think that we got, or like a not a nice comment, the support from our own community and from you guys, like everyone, just like the support that you guys gave us. And then like a couple of times, like I went into Facebook and I was like, you guys, like, you know, I can't do it. And I mean, the comments just poured in at people being like, you did, like, it was awesome.
Okay, this is a fun one. Leslie E. Bravo, ladies. So proud of you for getting this interview. Question about how you felt when Laura-Leigh described her idea for an animated series. It sounded very creative to me. Hope she succeeds in everything. She seems like a really kind person. Yeah, she is a very kind person. We both heard about it before. Mm-hmm. And at first I was like, wait, what? And that was my reaction. I'm like, and then I heard it again and I started to laugh and I started to think, actually, I'm really kind of into this. I think it'd be funny. So I don't want to say grew to love it because it only took one more time. The first, I was just confused because I'm not a big animation watcher. But then when I pictured, like, yes, the parallels and the sarcasm and that, like, and that it can also be like thinking about VPR in the foreshadowing of it.
I think also like another behind the scenes thing of how we got this interview is I was wondering what project she was possibly working on where she would reach out to us and where we would connect and how she could make it make sense for her. And I love the reality show angle of it. And when she speaks about the project, she's so excited about it and so on fire about it that it's so infectious, and you're just like, I'm curious. Like, it's like
her descriptions of the cast, like she knows them like the back of her hand.
And I think it's a great idea. I can't wait to see more. And
she does have little sample videos out there, but I know she's working on putting something together that more of you can see more of what it's about. And I look forward to that, and we'll let you know.
Yes, for sure.
When that is available. But yeah, I think it's funny.
Me too.
Okay, Bonnie Schley, kind of the same thing. Just wanted to hear beginning to the end what happened. Robert Rains, how difficult was it to secure this interview? What was the process like? Did she seem like she's in a good place?
Here's a little behind the scenes. I guess if you guys listen to our podcast, you know that Sarah and I are known for not editing. We usually just go raw through the whole thing, and that's our style. We're two friends that just like to talk about Vanderpump Rules or whatever we're talking about. There were a couple edits in this podcast that we collabed on, that we agreed on. So that's interesting. Nothing that's super juicy for you guys, but yeah, there were a couple of things that we took out. And
actually, I was surprised because there was a couple things, but it was nothing. Yeah, I was like,
it wasn't
okay.
Vanderpump related. And that's the other thing, that we've had guests before that are super guarded and they won't tell us Vanderpump stuff. And I thought she was really great about being open. And when I checked back in with her about certain things, like, are you sure you want to say this about this person? Or are you nervous that this is going to come back to you in any way? And she's like, no, like, she was coming from such a, like, from her point of view, and she was absolutely fine with everything she said. So that's really refreshing to work with someone like that is just like, no, this is my story. Like, I'm willing to tell it. So that was cool.
Yeah, because there's people that had opinions on it that she shouldn't be entitled to her opinion. Like, or some of the comments would be like, move on. It's like, what do you mean? She's never done a podcast before, or an interview for that matter. She hasn't talked about her perspective.
Yeah, she's just telling her story.
Her experience.
Yeah.
She can't do that, especially since she's never done it. And everybody wants to know. Mm-hmm. Everyone's been talking about her a lot in the last, especially year or two. They're like, we need Laura-Leigh to weigh in. So it's relevant, but it's also her story and experience to share. So if you're not interested,
then don't listen.
Yeah. Just shout out to some of the other folks, Mary Loomis. Trisha.
We want to shout you guys all out.
Tiffany, Aaron, just everybody that asked questions for her. She came. She was like this tall, lean, statuesque vision with her dog. Someone asked about what happened with the dog. Whatever happened to Zoe the dog. So Zoe the dog is different. Laura-Leigh's dog is Halo.
Yes.
And as she said on the podcast, Stassi convinced Laura-Leigh to get Halo. And Stassi had Zoe. And Zoe and Halo, they were kind of like the same kind of dog a little bit. We're best friends. And, you know, the time that Laura-Leigh was seeing Jax, Zoe and Halo were best friends and bonded, and Halo's never had like a best friend dog since then. So I couldn't believe she showed up with the same dog from season 1. Like, obviously, great dog caretaker. That was 15 years ago or 14, you know? So she was just very kind, very sweet. I thought eloquent and good with her words. And then it just ended perfectly. Our time was up. I had just mentioned about, she asked about Jax's Studio CD. She didn't know he had a bar, but she happened to drive by it. I said, oh yeah, you should go in. I go, well, he's single now. And just as we said Jax was single, her dog decided it was time to go to the bathroom. So poetic, I thought.
Yes.
Right on the money. Anything else that you can think of that happened before, during, after?
No, I mean, I would say it was the craziest thing was keeping the secret from you guys, because I wanted to shout it out and be like, send in your questions for Laura-Leigh, you know, but we didn't want to do that. Hopefully we get maybe an opportunity to do that and open that up for you guys again. But yeah, it was a crazy experience. Yeah, from going through her people and getting everything situated, getting the studio, getting ready.
Well, because we had the yes before, that we didn't want to get too excited.
Yeah. And then it was happening. It was like around the holidays, like we're just trying to balance everything. And yeah. So, I mean, magical is what I would say.
Yes. We're going to have more juicy content on this, including some cast reactions to the Laura-Leigh interview. So we're going to do that on audio only on Patreon. So join us over there to continue on that. But let's talk about our bingo cards.
Okay, you guys, I've been so excited to do bingo cards. Now, this is how I understand them. So I don't know if you guys...
I don't think they're going to show up.
Yeah, we'll share them on social media and stuff. But so basically it's a bingo card for the year. So we're going to use this card, and as things start to come true, we're going to mark them off on our card. So we're starting with, we did 3. 1 for the Valley, 1 for like the OGs, what's going to happen to them, and then 1 for the new cast. So we'll start with the Valley, and yes.
I'm making a mess. Okay, so
you're
these
you're doing ASMR of the paper too. It's all.
So these are predictions that we think will be happening. I mean, some of this we know.
Well, we know all of this. So I think this one, the Valley, is going to be pretty spot on. But again, we'll test it. We'll see if what we saw is going to happen, or if there's a different story framing that's going to happen. But I have a feeling that we might get bingo on this card. So let's start with number 1. Jax checks into rehab. Think that's going to happen on the Valley. And these are in no particular order. We just sprinkled them around just for fun. So next we have Kristen gets engaged in Maui. Jax is served divorce papers, and Schwartz is over at his house. So that will be an exciting scene. Brittany has a summer white party. Little bit of,
level 8.
Yeah, level 8. Little bit of behind the scenes with that. It was going to be Jax's party, and then it was switched to Brittany. So,
and we were going to be there.
Yeah. So the white outfits were ordered, and
then a mental facility happened.
Yeah. So that was a letdown.
Yeah, but we podcasted about this. So if
Yes.
you're new,
go back and check that out.
Yeah, it was last summer in July. Check out our podcasts.
Okay, next up we have Danny and Nia expecting a new baby. That's out there.
Unexpectedly expecting a new baby.
Yes. You want to take this row?
Kristen is having a girl.
So maybe, yeah,
So Luke's going to raise a cowgirl.
Yes.
Jax's gets a name change.
Could it be maybe Brits?
Brits.
Maybe.
Brittany opens a new bar.
Okay, kind of same thing. But we'll definitely.
But they are two different things.
Yeah.
So both of them. Jax signs divorce papers with no attorney.
I hope that makes the show.
You know, that's for someone to name call. One could say a lot about this decision. Jesse gets a new girlfriend.
Then we have Lala and Brittany date the same man.
We also have a podcast on Jesse and the new girlfriend, so go listen to that.
Okay, this one I feel like is like, who knows, but...
Wait, and a podcast on Lala and Brittany date the same man. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, go on.
Okay, next one is the girls all get double Dutch braids together. I think they're like on, it's like they all get spray tan together. They do a sugar scrub. They do
waxing, vaginal rejuvenation.
A cold plunge.
What was Ariana getting?
Oh, steam.
It was like the episode after she said she can't even look. Yeah, and we're like, but okay.
Yeah. Okay, Jax hits the gym. Do you guys think that will happen?
No.
Michelle gets a new boyfriend.
No, but I think Jax should listen to some podcasts while he's at the gym.
Oh my God. You guys tune into the audio Patreon after this because I'm going to make Sarah read the response because it's one of the most classic things I've ever seen. Okay. Next column.
Oh, Michelle gets a new boyfriend.
Oh, yeah, I said that.
Oh, okay. I tuned it out because nobody cares. Do you guys care? They're like, who?
I do.
All right, well, I'll give her another shot. Jax pretends he's not dating. Again, I refer back to the July podcast.
Yeah, Sarah definitely was in the mix on that. Okay. Oh, you're still reading. Sorry, go ahead. This one's funny.
Jax adds more mix tiles to his bachelor pad.
Okay, this is a little redundant here, but it's just another square to mark. Kristen's pregnant.
Well, because I think we'll see that on the Valley, but not the. Oh no, we won't even see that. We see the engagement.
I think that we need to see the full circle. So I hope they'll figure out how to
do like a Sheena with Shay or a Scandival.
Yes.
Pick up cameras.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Zach gets a boyfriend. His boyfriend's going to be featured. Melissa and Jasmine get engaged.
Zach did tell us a little bit of a.
Yeah, we have a little scoop on that, but I say we hold it. And then we have Lisa questions who Kristen's baby daddy is.
Shady.
Not cool.
Not cool.
Jax eats 3 chicken breasts.
What? Who does he think he is? Randall? Can I get your fried chicken? Can I get 2 orders of that and then double it?
Luke and Kristen fight about Colorado. I feel like that's going to be a scene. They're going to, be planning their new life. And where are they going to settle down? I don't know. Janet has a Santa Barbara birthday. Cast trip. And Brittany gets her house back. So that's our Valley bingo card, and we'll see how we do on that. And I do want to just preface this that poor Sarah does not know what's coming on some of these cards because Chad and I worked on it. So if they don't land, don't blame her because because I was like, Chad, like either people are gonna think it's really funny or it's gonna be like wah wah wah.
Well, I submitted my ideas for each theme.
Yes, yeah, and they're all on here, and then I just honed in a little bit.
But then you said I think we should make it funny. Some of them were just naturally funny, and I think that was the right call.
Yeah. It has to be entertaining.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is for the Vanderpump OG bingo card. We still obviously want to know what's happening with them, predictions of what's going to happen in the future for them. So this is kind of that idea. So my first prediction is Lala writes a children's book. I feel like she is in that genre a little bit. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, whatever happened to Jax's children's book?
Yeah, what happened to that?
It's right up there with his app.
Yes.
His workout app and his chunky sweater line.
Yes. Okay, next up, going down, we have James explores childhood trauma. Now, I was thinking this could be an interesting storyline because it's going down a different path than him just doing his AA things. He could get into, we're interested in his family. It would be like a family therapy session I would like to see.
That would be a good reality show, the Giorgio family.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, this one, like I had to spice it up a little bit, you guys, just like for the sake of bingo. So I put Ariana and Dan split. I don't know, like someone has to split, so I put that. I put Lala and Sheena battle for a housewife spot. Could happen. And then just to keep it interesting, Sheena turns down Dancing with the Stars. So everyone's always making fun of her, being like, is Sheena okay? Like, check with Sheena and Dancing with the Stars. Well, maybe she would turn it down. Like, I don't know. This is
that, like, the one time I bet on the Jaguars, who would never won that year and the years before. And they won the one game of the season was the one I bet on. And I bet like $10 and made $750.
Okay.
If people would make $1 million if they went to Vegas and they bet on Sheena turns down Dan, because they'd be like, no, that would never happen. This is like 100 to 1 shot.
Yeah, it's a long shot.
We should go to Vegas and see if they'd be interested in this bingo.
Yeah. Okay, read this one right here.
Summer Moon skips a grade.
I mean, that could happen because she's very bright and her mother skipped a grade. So
which grade?
3rd.
That's one of our trivia questions.
Don't steal it for the people that are out there creating.
Yeah. Knocking us off.
Yeah. Okay.
Sandoval. I'm not worried about Sandoval replacing our trivia.
Okay, this is another long shot, but I feel like it could happen. This is Brock goes country and drops a track. Now, we know that in Sheena's new Valley home that they have built a studio. So I don't know. I think it could happen. And he has kind of a Beyonce moment of going down the country path. He wears the boots and lifts. Like it could happen.
At first I was thinking goes like cross country. And I thought, oh, well, he's dying to do like Survivor or Special Forces, which I can see him doing, but I don't think he's big enough to be chosen.
Right. Although on the show, Zac Efron's brother is on.
True.
So maybe.
But he has a pretty big following though.
Well, and they did, like he's been on like his documentary and stuff like that.
Okay.
So maybe a little more
on
exposure.
Traders. Yeah, so I guess he could.
Okay, I'm going to throw Chad under the bus on this one because he literally laughed so hard at this and I didn't. So you guys tell me if you think this is funny. Schwartz makes up with Joe and they become Dwarts.
Dwarts.
Like, I can't. So yeah, so like they have like the pet name Dwarts.
Dwarts.
Yeah, Chad thought that was really funny. So
it kind of sounds like warts.
Yes. Yeah, like. The next one is Sandoval gets mono. I feel like it could happen, and it's a good bingo square. Next, Jax gets accepted into Juilliard. This is like, one of Sarah's idea was like one of the cast writes or produces something, so I kind of drew from that, and I thought, Jax could get really serious about his acting, maybe stop mouthing the lines, and he wants to study at Juilliard. So you never know. The next square is Brock gets a job.
That's one of those Vegas questions again, 1,000,000 to 1. Like there's
yeah, I was trying to think of like Brock gets a construction show. Brock. Yeah. So I just thought it's broad, and
I just want him to like get a job in an office.
Yeah.
Not like Brock the Builder.
Yes. The next one is Katie starts a band more successful than Sandoval's.
And it's called, our first hit's going to be, You're Gonna Love Me.
And she's going to play the guitar.
Oh, and then she's going to have like an Alanis Morissette song that's going to be like, Disrespectfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then play at emo night.
Yeah, I mean, of course, this is actually feasible.
Okay, the next one is Sandoval breaks up with his band and goes solo.
Isn't that already what he is? I mean,
so why not just break up with the band? Let's cut the extras. What do you guys think? Would that work?
No,
his trivia tour seems to be successful. He's up there
as successful as the most extras. So save that
money.
Save that money.
Yeah.
Pay your mom back.
Okay, this is another far-fetched square, but I just thought it would be fun to throw out there. Ariana gets a Wicked role on Broadway.
Replacing Ariana?
Yeah, replacing Ariana. She's so in demand that they're like, we have to have her. And she rises to the occasion and is successful. Yeah, I don't know. And then we have Ariana and Katie launch a New York City something about her. Do you think it could happen? No?
A competition of a restaurant in New York and a sandwich when it's like the world's like biggest deli, and come on, and the rent.
They could introduce like a bagel sandwich.
And do you think people in Manhattan are like running down, oh my God, I think I saw Katie Maloney. Let's go stake out something about her.
They can open it in the back of Dan's bar, like a little stand.
Maybe they can add a little menu, something about her sandwiches on Dan's menu.
Right.
Yeah.
Lala starts planning for her third child.
I mean, I think she already is.
I think that is definitely could happen. Katie cuts her hair even shorter. Could happen.
Probably.
Vanderpump Rules comes out of cancellation. Could happen. I don't know. Okay, here's another one that Chad was very excited about.
I love this one.
See You Next Tuesday gets changed to See You Monday. So it's just come. See You Monday.
Instead of cunt, it's come.
Yes. And I feel like...
I don't think YouTube loves these words.
I feel like that could work because... see you next Tuesday. It's like see you Monday. You're starting the week off. Like, I don't know.
See you Monday. What'd you call me?
See you Monday. Okay, this one.
Because they need to change it because James is associated with see you next Tuesday. And
it's a rebrand.
He's on pause right now.
Yes. Okay, this one I feel like also maybe marked off on the bingo card.
Who's going to do see you next Monday? Maddie from Southern Hospitality?
Israel.
See you, DJ. Oh, it's going to be that Grant guy from The Bachelor.
He'll start doing it.
Israel.
Okay, next up, Sheena becomes Jeremy's wedding planner. Could be.
Yeah, probably already in the works.
This one I thought was funny. If you guys have been watching Stassi's content, Hartford is very into Wicked, and Stassi's been singing some of the songs. And I've seen a lot of comments of people saying Sheena's probably spiraling hearing that Stassi can sing, which I just thought was hilarious. And so one of the squares is Stassi is considered for a musical.
Well, she did do musical theater in high school.
She did.
So she's sang a little bit. I've heard her sing a little bit.
But I feel like she's held that talent back a little bit. And I think the smart thing to do is put it out there. Throw it out there. You never know what could happen.
Or she'll create her own musical.
Yes. Next up, we have Sandoval gets engaged.
I mean, let's hope so.
Yeah. Another one, Sheena moves to the OC. I feel like she's kind of kicked that around a little. You never know. Could happen. And the last one is Allie and Rachel start a podcast together. Again, very far-fetched, but just dreaming up what could be.
What about Allie, Raquel, and Kristen?
Okay, I like that. The trio.
And Hope. And Cat Scratch Fever Girl.
Yeah, just a whole slew of them. Yes. Okay, so that's the OG. Okay, last one. Okay, this is the new show. So as I was thinking about this and Sarah and I were brainstorming, we're like, what are they going to do? What's the typical reality show setting? And we know Lisa, we know the style of the show. How are they going to make this fresh? So here's our ideas for Vanderpump Rules, the new show.
I hope they don't repeat the same thing, like the axe throwing and all the things they do on all the shows. But let's see what we got.
We've got them on here. Okay, first up, we have Lisa elected mayor of West Hollywood. Could happen. I don't know.
Yeah.
Next, we have Sir is slammed with a bad health report and forced to close.
Doesn't that happen every week anyways? You know, I'm not saying every time we go there the bathroom's flooded, but I'm just saying it's possible.
Well, I was going to put on there something about like insurance, some sort of insurance event, but it just did not seem appropriate with what's going on in LA right now. So I kept that off out of respect. Someone cheats and Lisa takes the man's side. I feel
Lisa.
like it could happen. And yes.
Jezebel probably seduced him.
Yes. Lisa is served her tea by the new cast. Like, are we going to see her coming in and sitting down and the people rushing and giving her tea? I think that's going to be a safe bingo bet.
And is Sheena going to make a cameo? She's going to be seated with Lisa. And then the new server's going to come around. She's like, she likes it with milk.
100%. Schwartz makes an appearance. Absolutely. I think that with this new show, we're going to have a lot of Tom and Sir. Like, they're going to really play into that. And then obviously pit the cast against each other, the restaurants against each other.
I hope they do another softball game against each other.
Or kickball.
That was riveting.
Yes.
And Lisa's already, okay.
Okay, this one I was like impressed with myself that I came up with. What do you guys think about a storyline of Tom and Sir collabing with a pride float? So we had the earlier seasons, they did the float. Now let's get the restaurants together. It's a new, Lisa's like, we need to come together. And then they do a float. I don't know. It could happen. Okay. Schwartz and Sandy's is rebranded as Sandy's and Schwartz. They make a comeback. They decide they loved being in business together and they love the name and they're just going to reverse it.
Or how about Sandy's and Schwartz with Greg?
Yes.
Kind of like give them Lala with Randall.
Exactly. Like Greg needs his name on there this time. Otherwise, he's not doing it. Lisa pushes for a new dish at Sir Spotted Dick. This is another Chad contribution because I did not know what that was. He said that it's a popular dish
in England. Yes.
Yes. So hopefully that hits with somebody. And
she's gonna serve it with peas.
Yes.
Okay.
Peas. Chad mentioned that, and I was like, she already serves that, so it's like really not that funny. Next up, the next square is some sort of surgery is shown. This is a classic reality TV show. They love to do their surgeries and show us, the life that they're leading as servers. So I don't know. This one, Pandora is in charge of the menu in Vegas. I think also we're going to have a big push of the Vegas restaurant, and she'll be needing the staff from Tom and Sir to go train them. There'll be a lot of talk about Vegas.
They should have just filmed in Vegas.
Yes. Then next up we have cash trip to Lisa's new Vegas house and restaurant. This, I think, was going to heavily include James. It'll be interesting to see if he is included, if they cut it out, or what's going to happen.
Do you think they'll stay at Lisa's house? She'll make the servers stay there?
I think it'd be great if they
like
did.
a little Vanderpump villa.
Or it, like I would
Vegas
love,
villa?
I would like a throwback of kind of like season 1 or season 2 when they would have to go host at someone's house, you know, like for the housewives or something. So
Yes.
have a welcome party. They have to serve someone that has a bad attitude. It could be great. Next up, we have a filming in an escape room. Again, classic reality TV.
No.
Cast trip to Mexico. A waxing scene.
Would they want to spend that much money on the new cast? They might just do Vegas or Reno.
They have a lot of places to film right now. So, yeah.
What if they did like Tijuana?
They could do Wolf.
Wolf. They could do, I could see him doing like Rosarita or Tijuana or something.
Yeah,
I
could too.
Like the beautiful side of Tijuana.
Next up, we have Ken develops a gambling habit. Could happen. You know, you go to Vegas, you're caught up in the lights and the sounds, and, you know, Lisa thinks he's busy checking on things, but he has a hankering for slots, like Sarah and I.
The slots, not the table, because I can be like, and they're like, sir, what was that? I just
And they question him again. He's all, knock your spark out. Next up, we have Peter, you know, who has claimed he's a big part of this new show, and he's going to issue a suspension. His new role is really going to be bringing down the hammer.
The enforcer.
Yes, and so, you know, he has to do what he has to do, and he's serious about it. Otherwise, he wouldn't still be there. So I think we're going to see a new side.
And he has his favorites. Like Demi is one of his faves.
Yes, and maybe there's someone who's asking to leave early that is not his fave.
And it's going to cause a rift between her and like the
You
person.
guys are hearing it here first. So just wait for that. Next we have, will there be a destruction room? I think it's highly likely they are going to need to blow off some steam and bash some computers in, like their reservation system or their telephone that they don't like to answer.
I was going to say, what telephone system? As if.
Next up we have cast has to FaceTime Lisa.
True.
They will be in the destruction room, in the escape room on vacation, and they're going to have to check in with Lisa via FaceTime.
Yeah, they will be in Tijuana FaceTiming Lisa.
Or it could be Peter that FaceTimes and is like, we're going to have to suspend because they represent your restaurant. They were in Vegas. They acted a fool, and we have to, it's a suspension.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Another square is Lisa mentions how many restaurants she has started. I feel like with these new coming
43?
With these new coming restaurants, the closing, she's going to be sensitive. People are going to be like, why is she involved in another show? And she's going to tell us why. It's because she is a great producer and a great restaurant
she knows
owner.
when to get out. The taxes here.
Oh my God, how did I not put Nick Elaine in? There has to be like Nick Elaine has a electrical problem and shocks himself or something.
When did she always say, I've opened up 37 restaurants. So I'll be like 43 or something.
It's funny with how many things that are left on the cutting room floor, that never is. Never.
Because it's riveting television.
Like we've talked to so many cast members that like are so excited that they're going to be featured on the show, or they're like, oh my gosh, we shot this really cool idea. I'm so excited to show
or they just post about it.
my cooking or this or that. And then it's like it gets cut and I feel so bad for them. But never does Lisa's scenes get cut.
We do need a Nick Elaine scandal.
Yes.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, I'm down for that too. Like something with, yeah. We could write something for that. Okay, here's a funny one. I threw James over on this bingo card because, like I said, I really felt like he was going to have a role on this show. We heard that he did, so he's still on here. So this is after a hard night of partying, James wakes up with an American accent. It's just his accent's gone.
I mean, he went to high school here. That's why he can do the accent. He's like Pandora. They use it to their advantage.
Right.
Just ask Chris Nadoti.
And like Brittany too. Okay, this I feel like is for sure going to be a scene. Lisa scolds the employees at Sir and Tom Tom.
Just some of them though.
Yeah, just some. And
it'll be an employee meeting, but there'll be like 5 people there.
Yes.
And they all happen to be main cast.
And like when the restaurant isn't open. Okay, another prediction. Maybe Sir gets new uniforms. Although I've seen some leaked cast photos of who we think is on the show, and it's the same darn uniforms. So I don't know, but sometimes we get a scene of Lisa going to the LA market to go find some uniforms. The next one is Ken reveals the latest scandal. Mm-hmm. Now, he's been known to do this.
He did this with Laura-Leigh in the bathroom.
Yes.
He did this with Raquel in the hot tub.
Yep. And will he do it on the new show? This new cast is going to have to bring it.
It's a formula.
There's going to have to be something that locks us in, that says we are invested in this new cast. And I think Ken is the one to bring it to us, because he's the storyteller that we all need.
It's tried and true. Goodbye,
not Peter.
Kyle.
It's not Peter. It's Ken.
I don't know about that, Holly.
And the last thing, Sarah's favorite activity, axe throwing.
I mean, can we just put axe throwing, destruction room, escape room, and waxing all in the same square?
I really, like, it's interchangeable. So I feel like as the show goes on, we can like change that out and laugh at it together as reality TV show girls, you know? So that's it for our bingo. I'm excited to see what comes true on that. And truly am looking forward to I can't wait for the Valley. I can't wait to see what happens with the OG cast and the new one.
We should get a trailer soon. I mean, it wrapped so long ago.
Yeah, I have. Did I hear from you that there's a delay? I read somewhere that there's like some sort of
I heard
little
one of them
pause.
talking about it, and they're like, "It should be soon, right?" And I think it was Kristen or somebody. They're like, "Well, you would think, but." So it was like kind of alluding.
But right now there is like amazing TV on Bravo, so I'm satisfied, and I will always wait for Vanderpump Rules and the Valley, because that's my ish.
All right.
So you guys, thank you so much for listening. We would love if you could give a thumbs up to this video, share it, like it, comment.
Subscribe.
Yeah, and you guys can always email us. Our email is vanderpumprulesparty@gmail.com. Join our Patreon. We'll have all the links below for you to check out.
And the extra content we're about to do.
Yes.
And follow us on Instagram, Vanderpump Rules Party. You can DM us there as well. But follow us. We're trying to get to that next threshold.
Yes. And thank you guys so much for listening.
Bye.
Bye.